What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Venom, issue number 10, and Eddie Brock has found himself on one heck of a time-traveling journey. Having his physical body destroyed, his consciousness makes its way through the time stream. Landing in the Garden of Time, he meets a symbiote by the name of MERIDIUS. In this Eden inhabited by the Kings in Black, ones that reigned after Eddie Brock, and we had last seen Eddie Brock's consciousness land in the mind of Dylan. This is where he sees Bedlam is about to kill Dylan, and Bedlam is Eddie Brock. Now, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. This is where Eddie Brock sees it. Bedlam is Eddie Brock. Bedlam is him. He knows that this is him. He can feel Bedlam's mind. He can feel the connection. This isn't some clone. This is truly him. He knows his rage. The rage that he has suppressed for so very long. Bedlam is Eddie Brock at his very worst. And now he is killing Dylan Brock. Not even sure how MERIDIUS is able to trap him inside the mind of Bedlam, making him watch as Dylan is slowly killed. Not strong enough to fight back. Not strong enough to change anything. With Dylan's chest being pierced, he is thrown off to the side. And that is when Eddie Brock falls back into the time stream. This is where he arrives back in the garden. MERIDIUS standing waiting for him. And we see Eddie Brock taking more of a slimy, a messed up, a sniveling loser of a symbiote. Something that MERIDIUS says is truly pathetic, taking the form of exactly what he is. As Eddie tries to figure out why MERIDIUS would do this, the truth is, MERIDIUS has seen himself do this many times. And now he is fully starting to understand why. And while he slowly divulged all the truth to him, he needed Eddie Brock to break. He now knows that Bedlam is Eddie Brock. He is not a clone. He's not Eddie from another universe or reality. It is the Eddie Brock that is yet to come, the one that he will be. This is the truth. He is going to kill his son, and he is going to do it because MERIDIUS tells him to. And while Eddie goes in to try and attack MERIDIUS, it is a foolish endeavor. He is made of symbiote material that MERIDIUS has ultimate control over. He had created this garden from the corpses of the last thinking symbiotes. That, of course, is after he ate their minds. This is when he tries to explain that time is the cage. The garden as he sees it. It is a spiral path. It goes around and around, with a very long straight road cutting right through it. The road, the true north, in the moment of now, the present time, and the spiral path. What he is seeing is the edge of his life, spiraling back and forth in time, but always crossing over with the present. If you stand at the very center, you'll see 7 junctions, evidence of 7 different paths. But it's actually one path 7 times. Bedlam is Eddie Brock. The infinite rage this knowledge will eventually drive him into. And then Wild is Eddie Brock as well. After the anger cools down, this is what he will become. We are seeing Eddie Brock evolve over time, until of course he breaks. Desperate to escape fate, he becomes Tyro, and letting him know that there is no escaping MERIDIUS. Because MERIDIUS is Eddie Brock. The path always leads to MERIDIUS, to Eddie Brock becoming this. And while Eddie tries to deny this, he already knows it to be true. He is already not the Eddie he was before. In his current state, his name is Finnegan. Now, if you remember from the early issues, we saw this symbiote. Like a matter of deja vu, he tries to make a run for it, but he finds himself right back at MERIDIUS. This time, he is seeing an earlier version of himself. He is seeing the Eddie Brock who just showed up to the garden, and he knows exactly what is about to happen. He tries to go to himself to let him know that this is all a trap, that this is all one giant loop, that MERIDIUS is the bad guy. But this is when Bedlam comes in and grabs hold of him, trying to rip him apart, telling him that he just needs to die. We have the Eddie Brock that just arrived. He comes in to try to save the day, punching Bedlam right in the face. The question is, why is all of this happening? Why did I choose to jump through time? To condemn myself to this kind of hell, to create the villains that murder my own son. He knows exactly how he becomes Bedlam, because he hates himself so much right now. All of this anger, all of this hate, this eventually builds up and he becomes Bedlam. That is where Bedlam's anger all comes from. That's why he believes that Eddie Brock should just die. And that's not just this Eddie Brock, but it's any Eddie Brock. He knows these are versions of himself, and that they need to pay because he would like to hurt himself, trying to tear him apart. This is where MERIDIUS steps in, saying that he has a job for Bedlam, telling him to jump back in time. He is going to do so, and he is going to attack the boy, to give him a scar, to give him a knife to the heart. Bedlam's first initial reaction is to try and destroy MERIDIUS, to try and grab hold of him and pull him apart, but he fails in being able to do so, baiting him by letting him know that this will hurt Eddie Brock. If you go back and you kill his son, this will hurt him in more ways than you could ever do. Just like that, Bedlam takes off, MERIDIUS laughing at how easy it is to manipulate him when he is Bedlam, letting him know that he is going to spend so much time trying to break out of this. The truth is, there is no escape, not until you become MERIDIUS. But this is when Eddie Brock also figures out this is why MERIDIUS is doing all of it. He pulled these strings, he built this cage, because he is as trapped as they are. Eddie becomes Finnegan, and then Bedlam, and then Wild, and then Tyro, and then MERIDIUS. That makes 6. MERIDIUS said that there were 7 paths. So somewhere out there, beyond MERIDIUS, beyond his most evil self, there is a 7th Venom. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This has been an absolute mind boggle, jumping all over the timeline. A lot of people suggested that maybe Dylan was MERIDIUS. I think even I suggested that because it really looked like that was the direction it was going in. The idea never even crossed my mind that it was Eddie Brock, but it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for MERIDIUS to be Eddie Brock, for Eddie Brock to be MERIDIUS. This Garden of Time, it is all symbiote. Everything is symbiote. They're all kings in black, so on and so forth. It was giving us hints the entire time. We are just seeing Eddie Brock's evolution throughout the ages. We are seeing how he becomes one individual to the next, how his personality changes, how he learns to cope with everything that he has done. MERIDIUS, he is simply doing what he already knows is going to happen. This is the continual loop until one day he evolves into the 7th Venom, which God knows what the heck that is. That seems to be like the god of all symbiotes. Bigger than MERIDIUS, bigger than any kind of King in Black. We're talking more than likely cosmic level stuff. Like Eddie Brock is already pretty cosmic being the King in Black, but we're talking about taking it up to the next level. Even having the potential to be one of the strongest individuals in the entirety of Marvel Comics. It's gonna be very interesting to see what they do with this. The question is, can Eddie Brock break out of this time loop? Can time be altered? Or is this the inevitable path? Even having dealings with Kang the Conqueror, MERIDIUS has to be trying to find a way to break it. But if Kang the Conqueror is unable to help him in this endeavor, what could anybody else possibly do? And the 7th Venom, where does he reside? At what place in time in the world? In the universe does he lay his head? Does he have his lair? Is he beyond existence? After the universe has come and gone, does Venom remain? Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with this series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with Venom. Now, if you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, we have 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges all the way to getting free comics every single month. Not only are you getting tons of perks, but you are helping out the channel tremendously. If you are unable to do this, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.